Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So on today's video, we are going to learn how to create a simple employees management system using ASP.NET Core MVC. And we are going to add a new employee form where you will be able to save an employee data, key in the first name, email address, the phone number, the date of birth, the country, and even the department and the designation. So we'll create that application, then you're able to link this to a simple AdminLTE template, add this navigation, and even at the end of the video, you'll actually deploy the solution on IIS. You can see here, you will be able to launch the application on IIS, and you'll be able to see the application on IIS. So the same thing, you'll be able to add all these navigation. So today we are going to create a simple employees management system using ASP.NET Core. So I'm going to create a simple project. So then I'm going to use ASP.NET Core MVC. So on my MVC, I'm going to create, use one of the template. Then I'm going to name my template as my project as employees management. So that is my project name. Then this is the location of my project, and this is my project name. Then when I click next, I'm going to use .NET 8.0 framework, which is actually on LTS. Then I'm on the authentication type, I'm going to use individual accounts because we'll actually use our identity. Then I'm going to create, click create. Then my project should actually create. So as our project creates, for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and comment down below. So as you can see, our project has created, and we have some folders here. So we have the areas folders where we will actually group some of the modules, and we have our controllers. We just have our controllers, one of the controller. Then we have the data where we'll be having our migrations, and ApplicationDbContext where we'll be setting and defining our tables. These will actually establish a connection to our database. Then we have our models. We'll actually place some of our models here. Then we have our views. Then for the appsettings.json, this is where we'll be connecting our application to the database. But just to begin with, I'm going to launch my project so that you're able to see how this project looks like before we even begin doing anything. So as my project launch, for those who are new to this channel, like the video, comment down below, and let's begin this journey. So let's see how our project look like. Then we are going to add some new features and actually connect to our database. So as our project launch, so let's just wait. So there we go. So as you can see, this is our project. We have a register, login, and employees management as it is. But now I want us to modify this top label here. So to do that, I'm going to open my project, go to shared, then a layout. Then I'll find the name of my project there. So the name, this is the name, employees management. We have employees management. So let's just see where here. So we have it here. So I'm going to have this as employees management system. Then at the bottom here, I'm going to have these as I can just say all rights reserved. Then I can say employees management system. So that is how we modify that part. So if I save my application and relaunch, you'll be able to see that I've modified the top, that is the footer, and the header at the top. So this is my text here. This is where my link is. You see employees management system. So, but now I want us to, after we have done that, I want us to, you see this is now employees management system. Then we have all rights reserved and employees management system. So we also have a register page. You can see we are able to register a new user, and you can actually log in with this application. But before we actually do anything, I want us to connect these to our application. But first things first, I want us to create our database. So let's create our database. We are using MS SQL. So I'm going to call these employees management. Sorry, employees. I can call these employees. So once I have that, I'll have my employees as the database. And you can see we don't have any tables. So the next thing that you are going to do is to go to our application app settings. So on our app settings, I want us to connect this to our database. So on a server here, we'll just put the name of our database. It is actually employees. I mean the name of the server. This is the name of the server. So to get the name of the server, you can actually click on this icon and it will give you the server name and you can copy it. So we'll just copy that and I'm going to paste it here. Then I'll replace my database with the name of my database name. So there I'll call what is the name of my table database? I mean it is employees. So I'll just copy that and put there. Then you have the trust connection. I have that, and multiple active result set is true. So the only thing that I want us to add is actually trust server certificate. So I'm going to have this. So we need to add, I want us to add that. So it is actually trust server certificate. So I'm going to remove this a bit. Sorry. So the next thing is to have the trust server certificate. This should be in quotes. So we have a multiple active result set to true. Then we have a trust server certificate. Then we have a trust connection, database, and we have our server name. So after we have done with that, we can actually save it. So if you come to program.cs, you'll see that it is actually getting our connection from here. So this connection is coming from the connection string, is getting the default value connection, which is actually on our app settings, and this is the name, default connection. So if we go there, then we are using ApplicationDbContext, and we are also using identity user. But now, first things first, I want us to create a model for employees. To do that, I'm going to create a new class here. Then I'll call that class employee. So for the employee, we need to define some few items. So I'll just call this employee, then press enter. Then here I'll define some few properties. So I'll say public int, that will be of primary key. Then I can say on this employee, I want to have a first name. So I'll just have this will be string and this will be first name. First name. Then I can also do another one. This will be string, and I can do middle name. That will be the name of our employee. So the next thing is we can have a middle name, then you can have a last name. Then we can also have so phone number for the employee. So our phone number, this will be int. Then you can have a phone number. So we can have phone number. Then for the phone number, I want us to have what other thing can we have? Email address. So you can have email address, and this will be string. Then we can also have country. So I'll just put in string here. Then you can say country. Then I'll also do here another thing. I can call this date of birth. So I can do here date of birth. So this will be date time. Then I'll call it date of birth. Then after date of birth, what other thing can we have? We can have an address of the employee. So you can have here address. Then after address, we can actually tie this employee to some parts, so which is actually maybe the department. So I'll have this as a department. So this is a string, then you can call department. Then for this department, I'll have another thing, maybe I can say create. So for this department, I can add something else, maybe designation. So for the designation, we can have the designation. Then we can also have something else. So I want us to create another model. So on this model, I want us to call this user activity. So create that. Then for this user activity, I want us to have some few items. One is the so we can have these as a created. So create. So you can have this as string here. Just say string. Then will be created by ID. So you can have that. Then for now, I want us to allow this to be nullable. So just do that. Then I'll show you why we can have that that way. Then we can have this as a date of, you can have this as a date time. Then this we can say created on. So you can created on. So this will track the person who created and when it was created. Copy that also and try to have this as a modified by, and you can have this as modified on. So we have those two. Then copy that. Then I want us to inherit to use it on our. So this class should be employee. Then we can actually inherit these from there. So you can see we now have our user activity, and we can rename this class to represent the real. So you can have this as employee. Then the next thing is here we can actually also define our full name. So you can say public, we can say string, then full name. So full name. So our full name of our employee will be a combination of, so this will be a combination of, so you can actually do that. Then you can say it is a combination of first name, then you can do that again, then you say middle name, then we can also have, it is actually a combination of first name and the last name. So those three will give us the full name of that employee. So we now have the created by and the rest. So we can actually also add something. We can say employee number, which at the end, we can actually have these as a system generated. So you can say emp number. So this will be your employee number, which is separate from the ID. So after we are done with that, so what we can do next is come to our ApplicationDbContext. Then I want us to do something. So here we can say public, then dbset, then define our employee model, have our employee model there, this one. Then our table name, we can call these employees to be actually in plural. So you can see our class name is singular, then our table name is in plural. So after you have done with that, so what is the next thing? So I want us to now run our Nugget Package Manager console, which will actually add migrations. And these migrations, once we have effected, it will actually update our database. So add migration, then say employees details. So if we press enter, it should actually run the migrations. But if that doesn't work, we need to add something on our application. And one thing is, so let's first confirm if we have all the NuGet packages. So you can see you have the Microsoft Entity Framework Core SQL Server, then you have the tools, UI, and the rest. So I think we are set to go. And you can see on our, when you do the add migration, it will actually add a file on our migration folder. And it will use the same name, employees details. But now when you click on that file, you'll see it has a kind of SQL commands. And these will be, it will actually tell us what it will do to our database. One, it will create our employees table with all these fields. So you see all these fields that we specified and with the primary key. So after we have done with that, if you go back to our database and refresh our tables, the table is not there. So to effect that changes, we need to actually run another command, and that command is update database. So if we just run update database, it will now create the table in our database. So it will create the employees table in our database. So there we go. And it will also create some of the default ASP.NET tables. So if we just go back there, then refresh, we should be able to see some of the ASP.NET tables. You see the default tables, and now our table, the employees table. So if I select our employees table, I should see that there is no records. You see, there is no records currently. So after you have done with that, then we are set. So what next do we do? We need now to kind of run to scaffold. So I want us to scaffold. And to scaffold, I want us to click on controllers, then add new, then say new scaffolded item. Then select MVC controller with views using Entity Framework Core. So if you select that, it will give you a pop-up like this. Then select the model, which is the class that we created, our employee model. Then the DB context, we are using ApplicationDbContext. Then our controller name will be employees controller. So if we click add, it will actually generate the views and the controller with all the CRUD operations in a very simple way. So let's just wait and see. So if everything works well, then we should be able to have our complete CRUD. So you see, it is actually generating the code. So once this is okay, then we should be able to get all the codes for the controllers and the views with all the CRUD options. So let's just wait and see if everything goes well. So you can see it is actually done. So if you go to controllers, you'll see there is a controller called employees controller, and it has actually generated all the codes. You see, we have the index, we have the details, we have the create part, we also have edit, we also have so we all have all these methods. Then if you close this part and go to views, you will see that within the views option, you'll see there's a folder called employees. And if you expand it, you'll see there's a create page, we have the delete page, we have the details, edit, and index. So what I want us to do, to navigate now, when we launch our app, you'll notice that we are not able to navigate to our employees list. So we should now be able to navigate to our employees list. But now, as you can see on this application, where do we click to access our employees list? You can actually do that by adding the link at the top here. So to do that, let's just go to our layout. So that is on the shared layout. Then on the shared layout, you will see the home and the privacy. So I want us to add another link. So this link will now take us to our employees list. So you'll see on this link, you specify the area and the controller name. Our controller name is employees. Then where we want us to, our action should be indexed, then you can say this is employees. So if we do that, we can actually now launch our app, and it should take us to the employees list. So let's just launch our app and see. So if that goes well, then we should be in a very good position to create a new employee. So you can see now we have the employees list. So if I click employees list, it should take me to the employees list. So you can see we have now the index, and it has given us all these fields. So if I just click create, it will also open my form to create an employee. So I can just put in an employee number. So just say 001. Then I can say this is James Mwangi. Then I can say Karanja. So that is my, then I can put in some phone numbers, email address. I can put in one of the email address. Then county, I can say Nairobi. Then I can also put in the date of birth. So I'll just put in the date of birth here. Then I can put in the address, department, I can say IT, designation, I can say software engineer. Then the created by, I can say macro code. But this one will actually link it to the user is logged in. So for now, let's just stick there. Then created on, we can have that. Then modified by, we can actually have that. So we will not be keying in all these details here. It will be system generated. So if we do that and click create, is a 0. So if we just click create, it should now save our data. So you can see we've just removed the validation so that we don't validate for now, but we'll actually be doing that. So you can see we have a very long list. But assuming on our list, when you come to the index page, we have all those these long lists. But I want us just to display some few columns. So what we need to do, we can actually remove some of the columns. So we can remove from address here up to here. Then you can also remove from the address here up to this point. So if we do that, save, then apply our changes, then we should be able to see that our columns, you see, let's just do the same. Date of birth, we need to remove something. Yes, we missed these two. So if we do that, apply our changes, we should be able to have our application. You can see now we have the employee number, first name, and we can actually add the others. So you can say this is 02, then this is, so you can do that. Then you can have the phone number, can have email address, then you can have date of birth, you can select that, you can also have date, department, designation, you can also have macro code, date of birth, there. So you can click OK again, save. So you'll see this is now saving. So let's make this a bit better. So if we come to our list, you can say here, instead of saying index, you can say this is a employees list. Then you can, instead of saying create, you can say add new employee. So once we do that, we should be in a good position now. If we apply the changes, we should see there our application has changed. You see it is employees list and add a new employee. But now when you click add, you see our form kind of is aligned or kind of vertically, but you can have these maybe arranged horizontally. So to do that, come to our create form. Then I'm going to have these as so I can have these as MD12. Then I can have these as, I can add here div class. Then I can say row. Then on this, I'll close everything. Then put it at the bottom here. Can close this. Then when I come to this, I'll actually add another div class. So I'll just say this is MD then 6. So if I do that, I can come here. So if I do that and actually close it here, then I can also do the same for this other. Then I can close it. So if I just do that and save my application, you should see two columns. You see, this employee number is here and first name is here. So the other ones, we should actually now arrange it in two columns. So to do that, I'll now be copying this one and closing here. So I'm dividing my form into two parts. So I'll do that. Also do that. Then phone number as well. Can also close it. Then I can also do that. I'll divide these as well. Then I'll also do this. I'll also do this. Then I can also have this here. Then I can divide these as well. Then I can also do that. So I'm just doing this. So for those who are new to this channel, consider watching. If this video is interesting to you, please like the video and comment down below. So I'm going to enhance this application because some of you guys actually requested. It's one of the videos that has been requested by most of you guys. So I'm updating that. Then I'm also closing the same here. Also closing the same here. I'm also closing the same here. Sorry. So this should be at the top. Then we can actually close it here. So after that, if I just apply my changes, we should see our form aligning. You can see our form is now aligned based on these rows. But now I want us to, you see these created by, created on, modified by, these should not be keyed in by a user. So this should actually be appended by the system. Remember, we'll be authenticating our application, and we should actually capture some of this information when a user logs in. So to do that, I want us to remove those rows. I mean the entry fields. I want us to remove the entry fields. And one of the things that we need to do is to remove them from our form, the registration form. And once we remove it, we need to control that from the controller. So to do that, let's just ensure our form is well aligned. So if we apply the changes, go back to our application, you see we don't have anything. So we don't have those columns. So if we go back to our controller, I want us to go back to our controller, then under employees, on the create action. So on the create, I want us to remove this binding. Then we just have our employee. Then within our employee, I want us to add, we say employee.created by, we assign it a default value, that is macro code. Then we do the same employee.created on, we append it to the current date time. So we say date time now. Then we also do the same for the modified by. Modified by, we just do that modified on. But this one, we can leave these two because this is on creation. We should actually add those on modification. So let's just add these two. So if we launch our app, we should now be able to create an employee with those two columns and having these two fields, I mean, pre-populated within our application. So if we launch our app, then create an employee. So there we go, navigate to employees. Then if we add a new employee, we get this form. I'm going to add the third employee, then have the name here as Arnold Mwangi Njue. Then we can have the phone number, then email, then country, then I can have the date of birth. So if I just select the date of birth, I can select that department and the designation. So if I click create, you'll see that my employee has been created and you'll see the date of birth and the rest. So if we go to our database, we should actually see all these details. So you'll see our employee name, our first name, and the created by and modified on is already there. So you see all these information are now being captured. But now we need to make our application more appealing. So the same thing, remember application is already linked with our ASP.NET users table. So if we come here and we say register, we can actually add an email, then provide a password here. Then we provide a password and we can actually register a user. So if we register, our application is asking us to click here to confirm it. It is supposed to actually send us a link, for us to confirm our email address. But for now, we have been given this link to just click, and it will actually confirm our email address. So if you come to our ASP.NET users, so this is the table that ASP.NET stores the users and manages a user. So if we select it, we should be able to see our user. You see the user that have just registered, and we have our password, which is hashed. Email confirm, if you see it is 1, which is yes. Then the other details is already there. So if we just do that, you see our email is now confirmed. That means we can actually log into our application. So if we click login, we can use our normal account and we click here, login. So if we log in, you'll see we have the my user, that is the email address specified at the top. But now that will be a video for another day. But for today, you see we now have this list here, and we can actually edit. So if we click edit, it should actually give us the data based on what we had updated. So if we click save, it is able to edit, and you should be able to delete. So if we click delete, you are able to delete an employee. So if you click delete, you see an employee data is actually deleted. But these applications doesn't look appealing. So what I want us to do, assuming you have an admin template. So assuming you have this template and you want to map this template to our application here. So I want us to actually allow this template and map it to our application here so that it actually looks more appealing. What do you think, guys? So to begin with, I want us to download. So come here, download this link using this link. So after you click download, it will actually download the template. So you'll be able to choose the template that you want to download from here. So you'll actually click the source code and you click the zipped one. Then it should actually download. You see at the top here, we have a progress. So after that, so navigate to the folder where the file has downloaded, and you can see I'm in my folder. So this is the template, and I've actually extracted it. So this is the folder with the files, and you can see I have all these files. So if I click actually on the file within my laptop, I'm able to navigate to the same template. So you see this is the template. So I want us now to copy and try to change some things. So I want us to copy these plugins, then docs, dist, and build folder. Copy those copy those 4 folders. Then I want us to go to where our project is. This is my project. So this is my project. So I've navigated to where my project is. So as you can see, I'm going to www root. Then within this www root, I'm going to create another folder. Then I'm going to call that folder AdminLTE. So you can actually call this AdminLTE. So I can call this AdminLTE. Then I can paste all my files there. So paste all those files that I've just shown you to this folder. So, and that means if you paste here and go back to our project, just go back to our project, and you should be able to get those files. You should be able to see those files. So I'll stop my project. So if you go back to then go to www root, you will be able to see these folders here. You can actually copy and paste it here if you want. But you can see we now have these folders, and we have everything that we need. So what I want us to do now, we have what we copied. So this is our template. So I'm going to, if you just open it, I want us to copy this layout. So I want us to copy this layout. So you can copy the one for the index. So this one. So I'll just right click and open the code in my Notepad++. As you can see, this is the code. So I'll copy everything, then go back to my layout. So on my layout, you will see that we have some items. So at the top of my layout, I'm going to just scroll here. Then I'm going to paste I'm going to paste everything there. So as you can see, I'll just move these items down that I had. I just kind of tap to move them down. Then I've actually pasted everything at the top of that. So if you scroll up, we need to change our navigation. So these will be our employees. So we'll call these employees management system. Then after that, you'll see it is actually our link. href is to plugins, font awesome, but now for us it will be to, we should now add this AdminLTE. We should go to AdminLTE, then to that option. So we need now to append and change all our links to ensure that it is now pointing to the correct route. So it should point to that, and also this one should also change this one. So I'm going to replace all my links to ensure it is pointing to the correct resource. So if I do that at the top, then I'm going to scroll to the bottom, just at the bottom. Then I'm going to have also these others. So I'm going to replace them. Also, it should get the resource from there, and also this one as well. So this one as well. This one. Also this one. We have this one. We also have this one. This one. This one. So you can add that. You can also add this. You can also add this. So I'm going to change this. So I can actually remove this for demo purposes. We are not doing anything demo. So then if we do that, we'll see that we have actually pointed all our, ensure you have these done correctly so that you don't get anything related to stylings or even an issue with your app. So after we have done that, I want us to, so let's also confirm that you have these done correctly. So after you have done that, I want us to just go back to the file, the section that we pushed down. So where is it? So this is the section. So I'm going to just minimize it. You'll see this is all of it. Then I'm going to cut it, open my Notepad+, and paste it here. So this is the code where we added our employees, you see. Then what I want us to do, I want us to add something small. You see this render body. I want us to add that render body. And where do we add it? I'm going to show you. So on our template, within the navigation, within the sidebar, so this is the sidebar menu. If we click on it, it will actually kind of wrap everything. So I want us to add on you see this main content, just below the content fluid. I want us to add these at render body here. So if we just do that and we launch our app, we should be able to have our app looking the same way as our template. So let's just see how our app will behave, but we are expecting to have everything okay, unless there is something that we missed. So let's just see how our app looks like. So for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing and like our video. So as you can see, our app has launched, and this is how our app looks like. You will see we have the welcome. We are actually running ASP.NET Core. It is actually embedded as part of this. But you can see we have these other sections, but now the logos and the rest are not showing, meaning there are some within our template, there are some sections that we need to have included. You see this one, we need to have included our reference link. So what we need to do is to copy these and ensure where there is a need of a resource, we actually provide the correct URL for that. So if I just do the same here, I should get that URL, the same here, the same here as well. So if we do that, the same here as well, then Let me just save that and apply my changes. So I've applied changes. We should be able to see our app running with the new icons. So there we go. So this user, so let's try to find that user. It's called Alexander. So where is Alexander? So if we try to find that, I think it should be at the bottom. No, it should be at the, so you can actually see them here. Let's just find, you see this is the avatar. So we can have that. We can also add these. So that is how you control that. So you can also add this. So I think you now get, if you see, so this is the link and the user. So if we do that, we should replace all the section where it needs a resource with the new link. So if I just do that and apply my changes, I should get my application updated. So I think without wasting time, let's just proceed with what we are supposed to do. So I'm going to remove all these navigations here. See these navigations? So to do that, I'm going to my layout as well. Then there is somewhere where we have the navigation layout. So that is the sidebar. So on my sidebar, I want us to remove not everything, but just to have some sidebars that actually we are going to use them. So this is the sidebar that we minimized. So I'll just click on it. Then I'm going to remove anything here related to dashboard. Then I can actually name my dashboard. So I can actually have, I'll copy this here. Then I'll name this dashboard. Or I can just, maybe that's, no, I can have that as dashboard. Then I can have these as employees. So that is it, and that is it. So the next thing that I want us to do is to remove anything that is not, so you see all these lists here. I want us to remove everything. So to remove that, you are going to just click on it to minimize. Then we should be able to delete them all at once. So I'm going to minimize all that, these as well. So there we go. So if I minimize that, I should be able now to delete. So you see all these links here. So I should be able now to delete all these. So if I just do that, remove everything here, remove that, and I should clean that. So if we just go back, our navigation should be just the admin and the employees. You see, we have an admin and the employees. So what I want us to remove this red icon here. So to remove that, go back to our list, navigation layout. Then I want us to, so let's just go back to our navigation. So we can actually search employees. So there we go. So we can actually remove this. Then we have this list of employees. But now, if you open our app, you should see that we have, so we have this search bar. You can actually remove it. So this is the search bar. I want us to get rid of it. Then Alexander here, this is the icon that we've been using. We've actually been looking for. So if we just add that, we should get the link, the icon of that user there. So if I apply the changes, we should actually get now our Alexander showing at the top here. Then we have our employees. But now you see we have this welcome. So how do we remove this? And we ensure that these kind of charts move at the top before the home and the contacts. So to do that, you'll realize that our application is actually launching using our layout. This is the layout. but the page that is loading is actually under home. You see this under home index. So under home index, we are having this. So welcome, then we are having building web apps with the ASP.NET Core. And that is what is showing here. So what we need to do is when we come to our layout, we need to remove things that will be shown within our layout. So how do we do that? So anything that is after this render body, you see this, we just want this, and anything that is within this row should be outside our application, should be now within our home page. So I'm going to remove all these. So I'll just cut here and go back to our index within home and replace everything here with that. So if I just do that, and at the top here, I just indicate students, I mean employees. Then if I do that and apply my changes, I should get now our application refreshing, and you can see now the welcome screen has gone. So we can also remove some of these calendars and the rest. So to do that, I'm going to just retain these dashboards and then remove anything that is not so up to the unique users. So these other things, I'm going to get rid of them. So if I just do that, apply my changes, I should now get my application with only these 4 dashboards. Then at the bottom here, you'll see we have the AdminLTE all rights reserved. So to change that, I'm going to change it under my layout. Then within here, I'll see there is a footer. So this footer, I can have my link where the link takes me if you click that link. But here I'll say designed and developed by Macro Code. So if I just do that and remove this other, then here I'll say all rights reserved. And instead of hard coding, so if I just do that and apply my changes, you'll see that this is now refreshing to design and developed by Macro Code, all rights reserved. But you can see the number of years here, 2014 to 2021. So what happens if you see we are now in 2024. So to change this and avoid that coding, I'll just come back to my date here. Then I'll just say date time. So to do that, we'll just say at date time. Then I say now. Then I'll just say year. So if I do that, it should actually give me the current year. So you see, it is now copyright at 2024. So that is it. But now we have not seen our list of employees. So where is our list of employees? So if we click here, it doesn't take us anywhere. So we need to ensure that when we click here, it takes us to the list of employees. So to do that, let's go to our navigation layout, and within our employees here, I'm going to change here and say, I want this to take me to SP controller. Then I'll say is equals to, then say employees. Then I'll also indicate the action. I want it to take me to index. So if I just do that and apply my changes, it should now take me to index. But now we might find a challenge. So if we click employees, we should get, you see our employees is now displaying within our list of, within our template. So, but now let's try to enhance this and make it a bit better. So if we go back to our employees list, so let's go back to our employees, then index, you'll see we have these employees, but we can actually change this table to look at more to something else. You see on our tables here, we have if you go to tables, we have these data tables. So we can actually add these data tables to our application. And to add it, I'll just click view page, then it will open for me the source code. So I need to borrow, you see these styles for the data tables. We need to actually copy these data tables, then go back to our layout, and we should actually check if those styles are there. So if you check keenly, you will find that those styles are not there. So we are going to add them. Then ensure we also give the same reference to the others. So I'm going to add it. I'm also going to add it and save it. Then go back to then we need to also copy some JavaScripts at the bottom. So if I'm going there, then you will see the data table styles is from here up to here. So I'm going to copy that as well. Go back to our footer here where we have our JavaScripts. Then if you see keenly, we will not find them. So I'm going to add them. Then I'm also going to provide the correct route. So I'm going to replace this. So let's just add them. So if we do that as well. So I'm going to update all these, update them. So for those who are watching, like the video, comment down below what do you think about this video. So after that, if we go back to our styles, you'll see there is something here. So I want us to copy this JavaScript here. It is actually majorly for exporting. We have the buttons. You see the buttons for the Excel and the PDFs, these ones. So you can actually have it here. I'll just paste it here. Then after we have that, one of our table, if you go back to this code, we'll see for the data tables, they are adding some styles. So there is a class that they've added. So I'm going to use this. So I'm going to copy this grid, then go back to my employees list. Then on my employees list, I'm going to add it here. Then I'm going to have this as my link. So here I'll just do that. Sorry, I'll leave it as it is. So you can leave it as it is. Then we have the CRUD. Then we have this employee table. So if we do that, we'll find that we need to close it at the bottom here. I'll just close it. I need to close it. Let's ensure we have closed everything. All the tags are closed. So after that, if I just update my app now, it should actually give me the new styles. You see, we now have the buttons, and I have here the title, and I have the search bar. So I can actually type in and it searches. Then you see we have the employees list. So I want us to remove all these nonsense here. So to do that, I'm going to the layout. Then I'm going to remove it at the just here. You see this kind of breadcrumbs. So I'm going to remove it. So then after I've done with that, apply my changes. I should now get my list. I've removed the dashboard bit. I now have my employees list, and I have this. But I can now remove this. You see these buttons if I don't want. So if I don't want, I'll go back to my layout. Then I'll remove these buttons here. On my JS, I'll actually remove these buttons. So I'll just do this and remove that. So if I apply my change, my button should have gone. You see, I don't now have the buttons, and these others are working. So, but now you'll see that we have these titles here. So I can have these as the title here. So I'll just go back to my employees list. So I'll navigate back to my employees list. Then I can say this is employees list. I'll name this employees list. But now I'll remove this other one at the top. So you have applied the changes. It should now give me my employees list. And you see we have now the add button. So if I click the add button, it will actually give me a challenge. because you see there is this option of scripts to ignore and this. So what we need to do, come to our application, and we need to actually have these await render section async scripts. So if we do that, I want us to add that section of code to our layout. So I'm going to add it here. So if I save and refresh my app, I should be in a good position to, you see, our screen is now loading, but it's not giving us the best thing. So I'll show you why it is not showing the best thing. So after that, we now have our list, but you see these buttons, they don't look better. So if you come to our template, I want us to reuse our template. So if you come to our template, then elements, you'll see these buttons. So on these buttons, we can actually choose the kind of button that you want to use. So I'll just choose one of the button that we can actually use to use. So if we go back here, we can actually, so I'll just do the same, view page, then I'll have, I'll just say button. So for the buttons, we can choose, you see we have these different types of, so let's scroll down. You'll see we have these different types of buttons. So what I want us to do, I'll just do btn, then btn primary. This will be our button. So if you come back to our list, our index page, I'll actually have my class here. Then I'll now paste my code there. So I can actually have btn, and then btn. So we can do that, btn primary. So if I do that, go back to my application, I should see my button there. And I can do the same for the edits. But now these I can separate. I can say this is edit. I can also do view. And I can do delete. So for those, I will also separate the buttons here. So I'll just do that and do that. For the first one is edit, so I'll remove this, then put in my class here. Then I can say btn primary. So then I'll also remove these ones. The second button is a view, and I can say this is a view. I can have my class here, say btn. Then I can say this is a warning. Then I'll also remove the others now to remain with the delete one. Then I can do class, then btn, then danger. So if I do that and apply my changes, my app should now conform to my actions. So there we go. I think we've missed something. Yes, so let's just check. So if I do class here, I now have these buttons. Then here I have my, yes, I think there is something. So yes, so if we check on our tables, you'll see that if we click here, we'll see there is the buttons are below. But we don't want that kind of a style. So I want us, if you go back to our data table, I want us, we've actually used this table, but I want us to use so I want us to, if you come back here, we need to, if we just remove one of the kind of, let's say 2 of the fields, then we can just remove these 2 so that we see all of our buttons. So if we apply the changes, we should be able to see. So you see we now have our edit, view, and delete. So assuming we want to have our icons, so you'll see that on some of these buttons, we can actually have icons. So if you come here, you'll see on our template, we have icons, and you can actually use the font awesome icons. So for this font awesome icons, if you click on that, you can actually search an icon and you can use it. So if I just do that and search here maybe plus, then I should be able to get a good list of icons. And if I click on it, it will actually give me how to add the list of icons. So I can actually copy this, and when I come to my project or within the add section here, I can actually do that. And if I save and apply my changes, I should see the add icon on my project. So you see there is something wrong with that. Yes. So let me try to have if I do that, let's see if that will suffice. Yes, you see, this is the icon. You have the plus, then you have the add new employee. The same thing here. So I can actually add the same thing. So I can use this same scenario, copy this, come to my edit button. Then I can also have far, then I can say pencil. Then for the view, I can do, then I'll put in a space here. Then far, then I can say I. Then for the delete, I can do far, then I can say trash. So if I have, so this trash are the icons, the I, the icon, and the pencil is the icon. So if I go back to my application, you'll see I have the I and the delete. For the edit, let's confirm how we've, let's say pencil. Is that okay? So if we save it, let's confirm the pencil icon. So you can say pencil. Don't know if we have something like that. You can say far pencil. So if we do that, I'm going to replace it here. Then I'll just do far pencil. If I update, you should be able to give us the icon. I think there is an issue there. We can actually do maybe far add. Let's check that. That is not, yeah, I think it could be even the spacing. Let me try to see if we remove one of the, if I remove one of the icon, we see. If we remove one of the buttons. So if we just do that, no, that's not the issue. So let's, so we'll actually check what is the problem with that, but we can actually have, even if we have the same. Yeah, so if you see the problem, comment down below. So that is it. I think for the I, it works. So I don't know why the other one, so we'll check that. So after we have that, we now need to ensure that when we click add new, our form loads as expected. So to solve this challenge, I want us to do something with our application. So let's just see what is this PT. So let's go to layout. And I want us to search that PT. I think there is somewhere we might have copied something wrong. Yes, so this one. So if we remove that, then I want us to do something. I want us to add something on our application. You see this, you need to have this absolute truth. So I want us to add it on all our styles. So if you come here, I want us to copy this. Then I want us to replace with this absolute root. So to replace that, copy, then replace it this way. Then I'm going to replace everything. So if we do that, so I want us to, so let's just copy this. Then I want us to replace with this. So we do this, then I want us to do replace all, find current document. So there we go. So it has actually replaced. So everywhere we have the admin, we have the that are now replaced. So if we go at the top, we should see this is not replaced. You can actually do the same thing. We should replace that with now this one. So I'll just copy this and I can have it here. So after I have that and click replace, it will also replace all my sections with these. So if I apply now my changes, I should get my app working as expected. You can see my app is now up and running. So if you get that challenge, that is how you resolve it. So if we go back to the list and I say view, I should also see my view details within this frame. Go back to create. If I say delete, I'm able to see all these details. So I can actually now create an employee. So let's just add 3. That is the name. That is the name. That is the email address. That is the country. This is the date of birth. This is the department. And if I say create, I'm able to get my list and it takes me back to this section. So I can also add another employee. Can do that. Can do this. Then if I just say here, add the name, do that, and I say create, then I should be able to get the list of employees. So I can also delete an employee from my application. So if I just do that, I can delete, you see, I can add more employees. So that is it for how you're creating a complete CRUD application. I hope we've taken you guys through a very good comprehensive demo. But now, before we complete this, I want us to complete this section. And the only thing that is pending, assuming we want to deploy this application to maybe to a server somewhere. So I'm going to deploy this to IIS, and then we should be able to now have a complete overview of how this works. So we'll be announcing this if you guys will ask for it. So to deploy this to IIS, I want us to come back to our application. Then I'm going to right click on my project. I'm going to right click on my project. Then publish. Then it will open for me a dialog to kind of choose where to publish. I can publish this to Azure, Docker Container Registry, to a folder, to FTP server, to web server IIS, and even to maybe I can import a profile containing the settings. So I can actually now deploy this to a folder, and I'll choose where to deploy. I can have this maybe to that folder. So I can leave it as it is, or you can actually choose where you want your project to be placed. For me, I'll leave it as it is. Then if I click finish, it will actually give me the settings. So if I want to edit these settings, assuming before I publish, I need to edit to delete anything that is existing within that folder, which is this the folder that I've chosen. So I can actually click on edit, and it will give me this dialog. So for this dialog, I am actually, my project is deployment mode is a framework dependent. You can also choose if you want to have a self-contained. So then the target runtime is portable, but I'm going to choose Windows 64. Then I'm going to see the connection. If I want to choose, say use this connection. So this is the connection for the database. You remember the one that we provided, the server and even the database name. Then you're going to use everything there. Then if I save that, I'm going to have these changes. I can also change the deletion if I want to delete anything. So this is where you do it. So if you tick this, it will delete all existing files prior to publishing. Then you'll be able to see these changes to true. So if that changes to true, then anytime you publish your project, it will delete everything that exists in this folder before actually publishing. So if I click run, so it's now publishing. So let's wait and see how our project will publish. So if everything goes well, then we should be able to have our folders and files. So you can see, so everything has gone well and we've actually published our project. So if we go to this folder, we should be able to see the files that we've published. So these are the files. So I've actually opened to where we published our project. So the next thing that I want us to do is to copy all these files, go to our C INET tab, then www. Then I want us to create a folder here. Then for that folder, I want us to name it employees management. Then within this folder, I want us to paste all the files that we've just copied. So paste everything. Then we should be able now to link our application to our IIS. Then try to access the application via IIS. So to access that, we need to go back to our IIS. So I'll just open IIS. So go back to our IIS. Then we need to create a new site within our IIS. So I'll create a site. Then I call these employees. Then I'll connect this to now the folder, the path. So we'll go to C, then INET pub, then www, then employees management, then click on it. Then we can assign a port. So you can actually assign a port. So I'll say my port could be 9091. So you can choose any port that you want. Then if you test the connection, you'll see it is actually authorized to access that section. Then if you click OK, you should see your site here. Then if we just click on browse on your right hand side, if you click on browse, it should actually open the application. But you see the application requires authentication. So this authentication, how you do, come to our authentication within IIS, click on the site, then authentication. You see Windows is disabled. So what we need to disable, disable the basic authentication and ensure Windows is actually enabled. So mine, this is Windows and it's actually enabled. So if I just go back to my project again and start, then it should actually launch my application. So there you go. You see my application is now launched and it is running on localhost 9091. So you see, we've actually now able to access our application via IIS. So as you can see now, we've hosted our application on IIS and it's running on the same port. So when you open our application now, you can add more data. So you can see we can add more employees. Then you can actually redeploy in case you make any changes to this application, to the IIS. The same procedure that we just followed. So I'm adding a new employee. So as you save, you're able to see these and you can actually view the details and you can go back to the list and you can delete a record. So after that, you see this navigation layout seems to be boring. So you can actually arrange this based on what we had. So on our AdminLTE, so if we so we can actually go to our AdminLTE, then we will find we have these navigation. So assuming we want to have these kind of cascading drop-down list, whereby you are able to see these navigations. So what I'll do, I'll just view page the same way we've been doing, then go to our links, so our navigation. So we just go to the navigation, can actually borrow one of the items here within tables. You can say simple tables, and this is the navigation. So I'll just borrow this up to here. So, and you can see it has actually this is the tables. Then if we copy that, we can add it to our navigation. So if you go back to our views, then shared. So we only have two links on our navigation. We have the employees and the dashboard. So if I just go back to our application, we have the employees and the dashboard. So I can add another one, assuming I want to have another one, which will actually show me, assuming it's a leave application, applications, then I can say here pending applications that are yet to be approved. Then I can have maybe approved applications. Then here also maybe I can have something like leave types, because we can have here leave types. Then if I just do that and apply the changes to my app, I should be able to see those changes on our employees app. So if we just refresh, so let's just wait and see. So auto load, so we can actually reload our app. Let's just launch it. So this is our application. We have the leave application, leave types, pending leave applications, and we can actually get rid of this one. So this should be in debug mode. So if I launch it, you should be able to see all those. So for example, you may want to see maybe departments and the rest, and the system administration, system settings. So you can actually add those links. So I can add, let's just go there. You see, we now have the leave applications, leave types, pending applications, and approved. And if you click it, you're able to see it is doing that. So you can actually do the same thing, copy this, arrange our application as well. We have another list. Then you can say this is a system administration. Then this will be maybe countries. You want to have countries. You may want to have towns within the countries or cities. Then you may also want to have system codes. We can add another one, assuming we want to have system settings. So I'll just do away with this. So this closes that. Yeah, I think that's fine. Can remove that. Then we can have system code details. So after that, if I apply my changes, so this closes that, that closes that, and you need to have these. So this should be, you need to have this closed. Yes. So if we apply these changes, go back to our app, we should see we now have, see the list. Then here we have system administration. Yes, we need to check what's wrong with that. So our system administration, we have system administration, then all these items here. So I'm going to just do away with one. Then if we do list there, then we need to close that. Then we need, what is the next item? Next item should be yes. So we need to remove this. So after we do that, then here we can now have our system code details. Then if we apply the changes, we should now be able to get our system settings, as you can see. So that is how our app now looks like. So on our next video, we'll be able to now kind of enhance this application and do more. But now you are able to see we have the details for the employees, and you can add more details. So that is it for today's video. So if you've liked the video, comment down below and see you in our next video.